Okay, well, hello everybody. Another eBay radio, Cobra 25 LTD WX. So it has the weather deal on it. Broken. I think this is got this for like $5, but yeah, listed as broken. Has some loose channel selector, and I see the nut and whatnot has come off of that. All but two of the screws are removed, one on each cover, so you can't take the covers off. But anyways, so we're gonna check this out. And as always, I'm not just gonna blindly plug anything into this thing and turn it on, because I have no idea what's even inside of this, if there's even a circuit board, which would be kind of amusing. There's a circuit board, I can see it there through the back, but you know, it's got the circuit board in it. So that said, take it apart, take a look inside, see what kind of an abomination that we have in here. Also got the Cherokee over to the side that I'm going to rewind the audio transformer on, because somebody really got into that and hosed it pretty good. So let's look at the top first. Nothing very obvious in here. We got some bodges. This is the Chinese model that was manufactured June of '94, as opposed to the Philippines or the Taiwanese variants, or locations of manufacture, which are generally regarded to have better quality, which I believe is actually, there's a lot of truth to that, I believe. This is about when they started making design changes and they started building these things down to a price. So with that said, be careful on this side. Sometimes the speaker wires are really short. You go whip it off and you'll tear the speaker wires right out of the speaker. You'll break the tabs off the speaker. It's just, you'll have a bad day. So yeah, carefully. It's not even connected. So why not? Why wouldn't somebody connect the speaker? Well, since it's disconnected, let's check it. Let's see. They're probably working on it, so, you know, help to put the multimeter in ohms. Open. It's supposed to be a 16 ohm speaker, so that's why it's unsoldered, because it's bad. So what else is bad? That's another reason why you just don't blindly turn on radios that you don't know about. Speaker wires are just stuck down, and you know, they're just laying down in there, and yeah, you can cause problems. So nothing else is obvious about this. I don't see any AMC bits cut out of this, and the modulation controls just slightly offset, left to center, so somebody hasn't been tweaking or doing peaking. So anyway, let's fire it up. We don't have a speaker. Let's just see what else is wrong with it. So I don't have my 3-pin connector handy either, so turns on, got a display, it's convenient. Number 6 has got a segment missing. Well, no it doesn't. Unless they changed that. The number 6 doesn't have a line over the top of it, but it does on all the other numbers, except for the 6s. That's really curious. I wonder if that's a legitimate change. I have to look at that and see what's going on with that. S meter is stuck. That thing is not moving at all. It's just solidly and completely stuck. And that can happen where they just the oil in them, and it just it sort of gets glued in place in there, and yeah, it's pretty well stuck. Okay, so since we can't hear anything, let's do the next best thing. Scope on the output and see if we got anything there, and we do. So yeah, we're good on the audio output. I see it on the scope, so it's definitely there. So we're getting static without a microphone also, because some of these did or did not need the microphone for receive. This one is clearly one that I don't remember. The 25, I don't think it needed the microphone for receive. So that said, let's see if it transmits. Dummy load. Gotta have a dummy load or something. You know, an antenna with a decent SWR, something. Does transmit. I've got a radio sitting up here that is on channel 20. So, no mic gain. Hello, hello. So it works. It's got audio out. So, probably just a bad speaker. And you know, some of these radios were listed on eBay that I've been looking at and whatnot. I don't know if this one was one of them that were listed as from closed CB shop. So chances are it probably was in a CB shop and needed a speaker, and the customer didn't want to pay for a speaker, and so it sat on a shelf with all but 2 screws in the cabinet, and the speaker unsoldered because it needed a, you know, speaker, and they said nope, and that's that. So you know, what else is up with this radio? I don't know. I doubt there's actually any other real issue with it. So, you know, and it appears to be stock. You know, it's 4 watts transmit. Just out of giggles here. Never can really get this meter. This is just this is a crappy meter. Let's see how much modulation this thing's putting out. I'm gonna discuss modulation here in a minute, just because I feel the need to. So, how much does it have? Hello, hello, hello. 95%, according to that meter, which is good enough. Good enough. No more required. You know. So, that said, put this to the side since it looks like it needs a speaker and some screws and a cleanup, and to tighten that up and to fix that meter, which are relatively minor issues. Fortunately for him, Cherokee. Bad audio transformer, melted. Probably the first bad thing that happened to it is that negative wire for the speaker was soldered to the top of it, probably with a soldering gun, because it was heavy wire and it was to the top, the metal transformer, part of the transformer. That's going to sink a lot of heat. You got the metal part, the core of the transformer is also metal, or you know, an iron ferrous material. It's going to sink a lot of heat, so they had to get it really hot. And where's that heat going to go? Into that metal. It's going to go into that bobbin that the wires wound around, which is plastic. And you know, you can do the math from there. I mean, it's going to melt the hell out of it, and it was melted. So couple that with the AMC circuit being practically destroyed. This diode removed, jumpered over, which those diodes are usually there for back EMF and things like that. It was removed. I put one back in there, but it was removed. It's usually just a 1N4002 or 4004 diode, you know, and you know, that's I don't want to go into the whole principles of how the AM transmitter works and all that, but needless to say, the audio is modulated onto the DC power before it goes into the output, the PA, the RF PA. So what has happened? Well, somebody got a little crazy with it, and you know, sometimes they don't make their things obvious. And they don't make it obvious a lot of times because they don't want people, you know, the CBs are kind of crazy, you know. Some of them are very protective of the secrets, you know, because they want to charge people $20, $30, $40 to come in here and grab a piece of crap jeweler's screwdriver and go in there and turn that knob, and then they come over here and they start messing around with these transformers, and they get in here with metallic tools. You know, you're supposed to use non-metallic tools, these plastic tools, to muck around in these things, and they go in there and they use, you know, something like this. Well, not something like this. You know, they're not going to have good tools, but you can't use this screwdriver in these inductors. You can't do it. This thing is you're going to change it. And I've seen them go in there, tweak, pull up, tweak, pull up, tweak, pull up to tune it. No. I mean, I've seen YouTube videos of it. I mean, people are doing it and they think that that's perfectly okay. It's the wrong tool. It'll crack the slug. Yeah, just don't do it. It's not right. But you know, there's right ways and wrong ways to do things. That's the wrong way. But so AMCs and radios. Somebody sent me probably a week ago or so this CB radio myths, which is a myth. And this is supposed to be somebody debunking a myth, but he just perpetuates the myth even further. And it reads, all rigs have an ALC AMC automatic level control / automatic modulation control limiter in them. We'll say true to that. I don't know if it's every single one everywhere in the world, but ones that are manufactured for the United States, yes, we'll say that's true. The ALC circuits are cheap, using only a few components. Well, these things are built to a price, so okay, yeah, we'll say that that's fairly accurate. These limiters should have been designed to be used when needed on voice peaks, if needed, at the point of overmodulation only. Well, yes and no, but that's not how it works. So we're starting to go off on a tangent now. Now it's obvious that the person who wrote this clearly doesn't understand how they work. Instead, the circuit is on all the time, regardless of your audio level. Well, that's because it has to control the audio level, and it has to be on all the time to do so. So, yeah. Buying a power mic and expecting it to sound powerful is not going to happen. Well, yeah, it depends. The ALC limiters in the rig wouldn't allow the power to come through. Well, what do you mean by that? Wouldn't allow the power to come through? There's no power in it. It's yeah, okay. So clearly we're going off and we're not understanding what it is. You will sound the same as a cheap cordless phone. Okay. A cheap cordless phone, most of them actually, most of your cordless phones are actually digital, and yeah, so, okay, if you say so. Asking for a radio check is useless because those who don't have an inkling as to what good audio is will tell anyone that you sound good, even if it's 5% modulation, using headphones as a mic or 2 tin cans attached to a string. If they can understand you and it's clear, then it's good. What the hell are you talking about? That's the purpose of it, not to splatter all over the damn band. So, I mean, yeah. As long as this person hears anything in English and Martian and can somewhat understand it, they will tell you that it sounds good. No, that's not true. I mean, if you listen to the radio, you'll see that if it sounds like crap, people will tell you that it sounds like crap. If they can't understand you or it's difficult to understand, they're going to say it sounds like crap. Okay, totally useless. What is even more stupid is buying a power mic that has built-in ALC limiters. So power mics have ALC limiters now. I actually took a static D104 apart, checked it out, and I found no such thing in it. So, okay, bullshit right there. Why did you do this? Because you didn't know. Okay. Well, if you buy things because you're trying to make it sound louder and you don't really understand how it works, then you don't know, then yeah, okay. You're under the impression if you buy a power mic, you'll sound loud without all of this red tape. What red tape? I know it's another can of worms, but it's eye-opening. Being a tech for 40 years, I and others have removed tons, not a ton, but tons of ALCs from rigs and mics to allow your audio to fly instead of the cheap cordless phony audio that you may have bought as a cordless phone, not knowing that some of these cordless phones have ALCs in them. Well, they're digital. They probably do have an ALC in them, and there's reasons for it to be there. I don't know. That makes no sense. They're FM folks and they're digital, so, and they're not even FM. They're usually QAM encoded nowadays. So what are we talking about? So you didn't know this until after you buy it and use it. The CB radio and mic industries have to adhere to the FCC rules and regulations regarding overmodulation. Okay, I mean, we're starting. I think we're starting to digress into a big government political issue now. Yeah, I mean, but it just digresses. It goes into this verbal diarrhea. You know, back in the 60s when things had tubes and they had ALCs and they weren't effective. I don't know a whole lot about tube radios, but I can't recall seeing one with an ALC in it, actually. I think that they were just tuned properly because people who used tube rigs just knew how the hell they worked. I've put a temp switch in the ALC circuit to show a few people on air before and after difference, and they agreed. What? I mean, anyway. Then it goes into this, your power supply wouldn't notice much extra current being drawn as you modulate. I mean, notice? I didn't know that they had, that the power supplies were intelligent. Your power supply, yeah. I mean, after the rig has had all the ALCs removed, your audio goes up to the normal level. As it does in PA, the power supplies more current to the rig, and your upward modulation increases a lot. The power supply is only going to supply whatever current the radio requires if it's capable of supplying it. The power supply doesn't have jack shit to do with sound, so I don't know what we're talking about there. Removing ALCs from any rig is not supercharging the rig. You're only bringing it back to normal. The frickin' ALC is in there as a normal course of, it's just how it operates, and it is actually a frigging required item so that the damn thing doesn't become overmodulated. So, you know, a bunch of crap. It's just basically verbal diarrhea written down. That said, what is the purpose of the ALC in radio like this? It's to prevent overmodulation. Is it supposed to be on full time? Yes, it is. If the ALC is and there are some radios that you cannot that you can't alter the modulation level with a control. In that case, you can alter the circuit by changing the values of some of the resistors and things like that, putting a trim pod in it somewhere in a strategic location to alter the behavior of the circuit without removing the damn circuit, because it's actually supposed to be there so you don't overmodulate the damn radio, because if it overmodulates it sounds like crap. So why would you remove it? That makes no sense. So anyways, take it from me, you know, somebody who's actually had some formal training in the subject, not to go and start cutting things out of the radio. If you want to tweak it, you can. You can change some values. You look at the schematic and you figure it out. If you have any, you know, electrical engineering skills, you go in there and you find it on the schematic, and I can change the value of this resistor, or change this the circuit design just slightly, adding or removing a component. Not really so much removing, but replacing a particular components strategically to alter the behavior of said ALC or AMC circuit, so that you can achieve the 100% modulation if desired. But, you know, going and having 300% modulation sounds like shit. It is shit. And, you know, people think that they're getting more power out of it because the carrier of the envelope of the damn thing is going up, and it's getting chopped across the top, and it's coming back down again. And they think, oh, my meter shows I have more power. Well, yeah, it does, but that's because you're clipping the shit out of it. Anyway, so that's enough of my rant on why you should not screw around with your AMCs. Catch you next time. Thanks for watching.